Skip Norfolk is Mike.
Tell him to look out for those big bumps for the whoop-de-doo section. There's a few big ones in there, and if you can hop over those, you can keep that bike pretty flat. Jeremy going through his usual routine. He kind of claps.
Hey, you got Honda Troy beside you. You got Team Yamaha down from them, and you know who's sitting on your right. Okay, you know where you got to be when the gate drops. Forget about the heat race. You need a whole shot, 4 laps of your race, and then you'll be out front. You can do whatever you want then. All right? Hammer on these guys. 20 laps this time.
Boy, that's great.
I love listening in. It's such good advice. And even if Jeremy already knows that, it's still good to hear it again. Just get that anchored in there. Trying to keep his arms loose. He said he got a little nervous.
And you got your spot. Nobody's expecting anything to happen in that corner. You can make it happen there if it's necessary.
So you know that they've planned a spot on the track that he hasn't shown yet.
Well, we could assume that it's that corner where he passed Lawrence. That's a key corner. I think we're going to see a lot of passing there. You see the intensity on Jeremy's face. Skip's got good advice.
He was talking about Jeff Emig, of course, to his right. McGrath, Henry, Lawrence, Swink, Craig, Lusk, Ward, Lorocco, Bradshaw. They're all there getting set for the second to the last Supercross of the year. Can Jeremy McGrath win them all? This might be the big one. 30-second board is up. When it goes sideways, they have from 5 to 10 seconds before the gate will drop to get this one underway.
I've been pretty impressed with Emig. I've said that already. Larry Ward and Ezra Lusk also riding extremely fast tonight, but I agree with Skip. If Jeremy can get out to a good start, put in 4 good laps, he may end up with a big lead like we've seen all year long. At that point, he can ride more relaxed, make less mistakes.
Well, if he doesn't get out in front, of course, there's going to be the bar banging, because that's the only way you can get around these corners. And there's plenty of riders out there that are willing to do it. So we're set. They're revving up. The gate will drop any second. Now it's gone.
Jeremy gets a terrible jump out of the gate.
Emig, good jump. Lusk, a good jump. McGrath is about in 10th position right now, but then he shoots by 4 riders right before the next turn. Emig is our leader. Lorocco got a good start. There's Phil Lawrence, 13. Number 34 is Ezra Lusk. Then it's Lorocco. Then Jeremy McGrath is already in 5th position.
And look how smart Jeremy is. Up the inside to the woods, already around Lorocco. He's in, what, 4th maybe? 5th? I can't believe what this guy can do amongst so much traffic.
Now it'll spread out a little bit. He's got Ezra Lusk right in front of him.
Look what he did right there. Instead of just clearing that double jump, he jumped completely past it, trying to maintain more momentum. Little mistake right there. He was lucky not to get tangled with Lusk, but he's got some fast guys ahead of him. Lorocco won his semi. He's already around.
Sharp elbow that time on Lusk.
Yeah, he gave it to Lusk. Lusk kept it up on 2 wheels.
It's Emig out in front with Phil Lawrence out in front. Lawrence, don't forget, led Jeremy McGrath through the entire qualifying heat except for the last lap, the last turn. Emig, Lawrence, Lorocco, and then Jeremy McGrath, Ezra Lusk, Michael Craig, and Jimmy Button. Here is the Suzuki Field summary.
McGrath's going to have to fight for this. Lorocco is not going to be easy to pass, I don't have a feeling. We already saw how much trouble Jeremy had in the heat race, trying to find a way around Lawrence, trying to find his rhythm. Said he didn't get to take the lines he wanted to take. That could happen again, and meanwhile, Emig is still out front.
Jeremy McGrath has been in this position before at different tracks with 3 riders in front of him. But he's always been able to get the break, the right move at the right time. Lorocco just won't let him take it.
Now Lorocco stayed tight right there, and although McGrath kind of blew it all through that section, he's still right there. The guy is just endless pressure, and eventually wears on you.
Now the big question is, can Emig draw a big enough lead with Lawrence in between?
Oh, I think so, but I don't know if any lead's big enough with Jeremy McGrath on the same race. But
oh, we've got a great one on our hands. Could this be the moment that Jeremy McGrath's tremendous win string of 13 in a row is broken?
Look at Lusk down the inside of the whoop section. He was pretty quick through there. He's trying to stay out of those ruts. And it's on the inside. So if he can stay close enough to Jeremy, which he has been doing, in the next lap, he could make a pass on one of these 2 guys there.
57.5 for Emig on the lap.
Pretty quick. It was a minute for the 125 class. So they've picked it up some. That he was running 57 lap times all through the heat race. Now Albertine is out of the race, still on the track, but out of contention.
5-second lead as far as Emig and McGrath are concerned. But they've got Lorocco and Lawrence in between them.
Well, Emig's been there before. He's had the lead. And a few guys between himself and Jeremy, like the situation we see right now. But he's always made a mistake, and I think this time may be different.
Jeremy McGrath can't get the block pass on Lorocco. Lorocco with good acceleration out of that corner.
And he's forcing Jeremy to push himself a little bit harder in certain places on the racetrack, taking him out of his rhythm, and he's starting to make little mistakes that let Lusk almost get by him through the whoops right there. So Jeremy's got to settle down. He's got a long ways to go.
He's still 4 seconds behind the leader.
There's so much pressure on this kid to try to win every single race, and I think now there's only 2 more, and with the absence of Hughes and Huffman, he knows it should be just a little bit easier, and you know, he may be thinking about that a little bit too much right now. I know once he settles down, he can go faster than anyone else.
Brian Swink hitting the dirt right there. McGrath honestly thinking that the streak was going to come to an end back in the wind and rain of Charlotte. But then he came back with great poise and had very few problems. But he got the great start.
Right. Emig still, Art, is maintaining this about the same lap time, 57.5 seconds again. And McGrath still not any closer to Lorocco, and Lusk is still within striking distance.
Emig has pulled a second on McGrath as far as the lead back to fourth.
Now, meanwhile, we've been talking about all these guys. One guy that I'm really impressed with is Phil Lawrence, because he has closed in the battle just ahead of these guys on Emig. He's putting pressure on Emig for the lead of this race.
Lawrence, of course, the top privateer in the last National Outdoors. Getting some extra money for that. It's not easy being a privateer in this business.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, he's got a good team behind him, but I've talked to him. I flew home with him after one of the rounds. I forget now. I think Pontiac. And he talked about the fact that his bike was pretty much stock. And he goes out riding with Emig, and I mean not Emig, but McGrath and Hughes. Sometimes I go, hey, did you ever ride one of those guys' bikes out practicing? He said, I didn't want to. He didn't want to know how much better their bikes were because he'd have to go back and ride his.
Well, gentlemen, we haven't seen much of this race yet. There is a lot more to come as Jeff Emig on top, Lawrence, Lorocco, McGrath, and Lusk. And we'll be back with the finish, the conclusion of the 250 main event after this. Here is our leader in the 250 main event from St. Louis. It is Jeff Emig, number 2, but Phil Lawrence of Great Western, an independent team, is really putting the heat on. Then it's Lorocco and Jeremy McGrath with Ezra Lusk behind him. I'm
so impressed with Lawrence right now because I can guarantee you that the bike Emig is riding is much more superior. But Lawrence is putting the pressure on as they came off the finish line jump right when we came back from commercial. He actually kind of had the pass made, and Emig squirted off that outside, gave him a face full of dirt. But he is close enough to make Emig think about where he's going to go on the racetrack, not to give up that best line.
Jeremy McGrath is losing time on Lorocco as we see our leader, Jeff Emig. Emig, of course, winning the last Supercross of the season last year. That was the field shortened, and Lawrence goes into the hay bale.
You could just see a glimpse of him as they went by. He went off the track and hit a hay bale. He's in kind of an odd spot. It's going to take him a little while to get going, so that makes it a little easier for Jeremy now.
So it is Emig, Lorocco, and Jeremy McGrath. As I was saying, Emig's only Supercross win came in the field shortened display the last race of the year in Las Vegas last year, where several riders did not ride in the main event.
Now watch Lawrence right here. He's in second place. He's going to come out. He's going to go more to the right. He gets crossed up in that rut. Right there, that hay bale is what caused the problem. Falls off the bike, and it took him forever to get going. Right now, he's in 7th.
Emig slowing down as far as lap time is concerned, and Lorocco and Jeremy McGrath are picking up time.
We got a good race brewing right here. These 3 guys are going to get close.
And Lorocco, you know, is not going to give McGrath an inch.
No, he won't. He'll do everything he can. He wants to finish off the season, at least indoors, good, and take some of that strength outdoors, where he's still got a shot at the title.
Number 8, Mike Lorocco. His bike tuned by his father, Mike Sr.
As they went into that first corner, you can see Jeff Stanton off to the side of the racetrack, lean down and clap for Jeremy. He's got a lot of support out there on the racetrack.
Lorocco, despite the fact that he came from reconstructive knee surgery into the season, race in Orlando, then a third and a fourth. It was looking pretty rosy until the 19th in Seattle.
Well, this is for the first time this year that I can think of, Art. Lorocco has a good look at the lead in the main event pretty far into the race.
And he's had good starts both in qualifying and the main event. Lorocco now starting to move in, inch up on Jeff Emig. This is the closest thing to the home track for Jeff Emig. Many friends and family coming up from Kansas City. He wants to hold on to that lead.
So now these guys are using pretty much the same line. You can see Emig's mechanic, Jeremy, looking on. McGrath is able to start using different lines. He's got nothing to lose, really. He can just watch what these guys do and play off of them. You can't wait too long, though. There's not that many laps left.
We're almost to the halfway point. 11 laps left. Emig, Lorocco to the inside of the whoops. Lorocco moving on those whoops. Oh, and Lorocco comes down hard.
Well, he had to go for that, or else he would have lost a lot of time. It takes so much strength, I can't even tell you, to pull the front end up that high and land on the top of that jump, not lose any time.
58.3 the last lap.
Yeah, they're starting to slow down just a little bit. They've been running 57s, now they're into 58s, and I think that's just the condition of the racetrack.
Down in front, Jeff Emig, Mike Lorocco, and Jeremy McGrath, 1, 2, and 3. It's Michael Craig in fourth. Here's the halfway point.
Yeah, now look at McGrath. He's going wide, trying to stay out of that big rut that Marty was pointing out before the race started. You can see how deep these are getting now. I have a feeling that it's going to be a mistake.
Here comes Lorocco, making the move. Can't quite get Emig with a black pass. Here's the triple. Jeremy McGrath sitting back, watching him fight it out.
Well, he's being patient right here. Time is going to run out if he can't stay close. He's got to stay really close to these guys, or else they're not going to feel that presence anymore.
Oh, Lorocco can sense his first victory of the '96 season.
Now, this section coming up, Lorocco's been using the inside. I don't think he's close enough to Emig, though, to make a move. Jeremy's right there.
A 1-2-3 battle in our 250 main. With a streak, one of the greatest in sports history, on the line.
Watch Jeremy. He'll go to the outside and get a burst of speed coming off the corner.
And he cuts in front of Lorocco. Jeremy McGrath brings the crowd to their feet. Holy mackerel. We're in St. Louis, aren't we? I can say that. Harry Carey.
Look at Lorocco. He's got an excellent line coming off of that section. He gets Jeremy back briefly.
Bar to bar. McGrath takes the advantage in the triple. Lorocco, he gets the block pass. Oh, what great infighting.
That's what it's going to take. The guy that wants it the most right now is the guy that's going to win this race. They're all the same speed. They're all capable of the same things. The guy that wants it right now, I don't care how tired you are. You know that they're all feeling that they're getting winded a little bit. The track's getting tough. They're making mistakes, but you got to want it like that. Right there, it could have been over for Lorocco, but he went back in. Watch this. Cuts right back to the inside, goes right for Jeremy's front wheel. He's probably bummed he didn't take him out, to tell you the truth, Art. But Jeremy did a good job to keep it upright. I can tell you he's a little irritated with that. He's not going to let these guys boss him around much more.
Fender to fender. Here comes Jeremy again.
This is the last lap where Lorocco, watch what he does right here. He jumps all the way off.
Good move.
Over that little kicker on the end of that jump into the corner, makes up a lot of time.
8 laps remaining in this 250 main. Oh, look at the move. Lorocco and Emig going at it now. Coming through the whoops. Great move by Lorocco to the inside. And then the double jump by Emig to retake the lead.
Well, the design of this track, everyone thought was pretty simple early in the day, but it's really proved to be some of the best racing all year because of the options out there and the fact that it's getting so rutted. These guys make mistakes.
Mike Craig is pulling up some space on the 3 leaders.
Yeah, he's made up quite a bit of time.
Behind him, just to inform the Ezra Lusk fans, and then Larry Ward behind Ezra. But we're looking at the true battle of the year right now.
Jeremy's still using that outside. He gets right up next to Lorocco, but he can't make anything happen. Lorocco controls the corner.
Boy, you got to pick the right rut. Woo!
Look at Lorocco. He scoots off over that. I really like how he's doing that. He wheelies over the beginning bump as they start up that little whoop-de-doo section and hops over that little lip. That's what set up the pass for him before on Jeremy to get him back. If he gets close enough, he can get Emig there.
You know, Jeremy's being patient right now after putting the wheel up there and testing Lorocco. But time's running thin.
Well, this is about the longest in a race, other than maybe Seattle, all year that Jeremy hasn't been in the lead yet.
That's where he was challenged by Damon Huffman. And Damon Huffman was giving him a great battle until Huffman stalled on a corner. Emig, Lorocco, 2 and number 8, battling it out now as they come over the finish line jump.
Lorocco right there. Emig looks over. He knows it. Jeremy using that outside still, but he's not nearly close enough like he was the past few laps to get in there and make a move. Now watch Lorocco through this section. He'll wheelie the front wheel and hop over there.
But Emig has the angle. No contact, just a good block pass. And Jeremy McGrath is pulling up close once again.
Right, well, Emig is making it difficult for Lorocco to get around. Lorocco, though, up the inside again.
Now Emig, Lorocco bumps and comes off the bike. Jeremy McGrath leaps by him.
What a save by Lorocco, but now Jeremy's around him.
And that's Michael Craig in 4th place,
and
number 17.
Wait till Emig glances over his shoulder and doesn't see that number 8 anymore. That's going to make him nervous.
That is going to be the key right here. Can Emig, with Jeremy McGrath behind him, hold on to the lead? He has lost the lead 3 times this year.
I'm sure he can hear the crowd. Whenever you're in the lead and something's going on behind you and the crowd gets into it like that, now you get a little tight.
Boy, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. Jeff Emig, Jeremy McGrath, Mike Lorocco, and Michael Craig.
Here's the replay. Lorocco just tries to get in there, and Emig won't leave him any room. Lorocco kind of does a trick ride hanging off the side of the bike. Good job to save it. He's still in the hunt. He could still win this.
And we're down to a 1-minute lap time with this infighting.
Well, the pace has slowed considerably because there's so much strategy and blocking, and because of the ruts, these guys are making more mistakes. They're not getting cleanly over all the jumps consistently, but I don't think the lap times really matter right now. It's just positioning.
Breezing by the lappers, Cliff Palmer, Jeremy McGrath right on the tail of Jeff Emig.
Now look at this, McGrath all the way on the inside.
They pass up Todd DeHoop. We're going to have a great battle here as Jeremy McGrath almost took off himself. And Mike Lorocco picking up on McGrath.
It's the most mistakes I've ever seen McGrath make, but you know what? If he wins the race, who cares? You know, it's a difficult track, and you can see how deep these ruts are getting. You can't expect to not make any mistakes. Watch McGrath right here. He gets cross-rutted a little bit. Nice body English to keep that on the track. That's where Lawrence went off right there and hit that hay bale. So a little bit better balance perhaps by Jeremy.
Jeremy's been able to pick up some time here with the whoops. Let's see if he can get close to Emig once again as Lorocco's right behind him.
And now Jeremy has learned. You see him riding the inside down to that whoop section because he knows Lorocco's on his tail. He doesn't want Lorocco to get around. He also feels like if he's close enough, he can get around Emig the same as Lorocco was trying to do.
Oh, this is the battle we've been calling for all year. Emig out in front with Jeremy McGrath in second, and Lorocco cased one, but he's still up in third. There's the top 5 on our Suzuki Field summary.
Emig has just been like a machine so far. He hasn't missed any of his lines. He's got the same lines. His lap times have slowed just a little bit, but so have everyone else's.
5 laps to go. Jeremy looks like he wants to make a move.
Every time Jeremy gets really close, Emig does something good, hits a good line, gets a good burst of power, and pulls it open again.
Lorocco's now 2 seconds behind McGrath in third with Michael Craig in fourth. Here's our Honda stopwatch. Let's check the interval. 1.8.
Pretty close between the top 5 guys. 5 seconds back to Mike Craig, who's ridden a fantastic race catching these riders from further back. He has a shot at the podium if he can get around Lorocco. But McGrath, I noticed, Art, was pulling a tearaway on that triple jump the last lap. I got to wonder how many of those he's got left because he's been eating a lot of roost this whole race.
This late in the race, he's never been out of the lead.
Well, this is history right here.
As far as the year is concerned. Jeremy McGrath battling. You see the space, the interval right there as they approach another lapper, which is Doug Henry. Doug Henry clears out of the way as Emig will go wide.
Now Jeremy sort of picked up on that line that Lorocco was doing, getting over that little whoop-de-doo step-up section.
Former teammates battling it out now. McGrath going by Doug Henry.
McGrath had a good run through the whoops that time and closed it in a little bit. To to contend with. That could be the story right there. Rich Taylor looks like he's going to stay out of the way.
Wise move by Taylor to let these guys battle it out. But Henry now is in front of Lorocco.
Look how close Jeremy is, and Emig moves right over to the inside.
Could this be the evening that Emig holds on to it all?
The ruts are starting to take their toll on Jeff
White
Emig.
flag lap. 1 lap to go. Can Emig do it?
He's got a good, comfortable lead right now. Unless Jeremy can stay closer than this, Emig's got the composure to hold on to it.
Emig is 1 win in Supercross history. Was Las Vegas. McGrath was not in the field.
Jeremy just had lost a little bit of time, but he jumped that section that Lorocco was doing, made it back up. Watch him through the whoops up the inside.
Emig doing a good job through the whoops.
I think the key might be that final corner where Jeremy got around Lawrence for the heat race.
I'll tell you, the fans are all out of their seats with good reason. Emig leading Jeremy McGrath in the final lap. Here's the second to the last turn. Emig, flawless. McGrath is not close enough to make a move on the final turn. It is Jeff Emig.
I don't believe it, Art. I don't think Emig does either. He jumped about 10 feet past the landing of that finish line jump, hands in the air.
His first legitimate Supercross win, I think, in his heart, because Jeremy McGrath was not in the field in Las Vegas. And where do you do it? You do it